Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Hello there. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce you to a special guest, a content creator of all shapes and sizes from any and all corners of the nerd universe. We have a friendly conversation and we find out what plans they have for the future. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture. Thank you so much for being with us. And don't forget to share this video with 200 of your closest friends. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. Our guest this week is a writer, publisher extraordinaire. She does many, many incredible things, and I can't wait to find out more as we go along on this journey. And we were talking backstage, and I asked her a very simple question. Is this heaven? And she forgot the reference, but I corrected her by saying, no, it's Iowa. What does all that mean? We'll find out in just a moment. Please welcome the one and only Erin Casey. Erin, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. I knew you were going to call me out for that.
I had to. But thank you for being with us here, Erin. If you have any questions for her, leave it in the comment section, leave it in the live chat. Our producer is going to be monitoring it as we go throughout the course of the show. We'll bring up the questions here on screen. We will ask them to Erin and see what happens, because you never know what you're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates. Am I right, folks? So to kick things off here, Erin, let's take a step back. Let's go into the time-traveling DeLorean and go way back in time and ask you this. What were some of your favorite books or writers growing up?
I would have to say Brian Jakes, who wrote the Redwall series, was probably the first author that really inspired me to write. He did mice warriors against basically vermin. And he actually wrote his stories for blind children. So those books are extremely descriptive, which is why I became a very wordy writer for a while there. I'd also say Mercedes Lackey with the Valdemar series was one of my favorites. And then more recently, Patricia Briggs, who writes the Mercy Thompson series and Alpha Omega. Like, all of those have been really inspirational to me, especially with writing more urban fantasy recently. And then, of course, Harry Potter, but she shall not be named. Well, I will not bring her up.
Just out of curiosity, though, did you take the online quiz? And if so, which house did you end up being in?
You know, it changed a lot, but I think of myself as a Ravenclaw with a little bit of Hufflepuff mixed in. So I think we're called Raven Puffs.
That's one heck of a name. Are you sure there's not a cereal named after that?
Oh, I'm sure there is somewhere. And your special prize is a diadem. Then I have to ask, what's your house?
I took the quiz once a long time ago. I ended up being the goody two shoes, so I was in Gryffindor. Nice. So I wonder what I would be in now that it's been a number of years. It's been a while. Things have changed. I've grown up. I've matured. I got a couple of gray hairs growing in the back here, which you can't see underneath this ridiculously good-looking this ball cap. So I'll just leave that up to the imagination to you, the viewer at home. But I may still be a Gryffindor if I were to take it now, or maybe a Hufflepuff. I'm not sure. I'd have to take it and find out.
You'll have to find your partner Slytherin then.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair point. Just out of curiosity, though, if they were to reboot the franchise, even though they sort of kind of did with Fantastic Beasts and No One Cares, if you were going to be in one of those movies, which character would you want to play? Would you want to play one of the original characters, or would you want to play your own character?
You know, I'd probably want to play one of my own my own character. Words, I have them today, I swear.
It's okay.
If I had to be recasted as one of the characters, I'd love to be Hermione Granger, because why not? She is amazing. Or Luna Lovegood. I think I'm crazy enough to be Luna Lovegood.
You're cray-cray enough to be Luna Lovegood. I have not heard that one before. That's a new one on me. So thanks for bringing that to our attention, I should say. Well, Hollywood, if you're watching this, let's make Erin's dreams come true. Let's see if we can make that a reality at some point in the near future. But when did you specifically decide to become a writer?
I would say probably when I was in middle school. This is going to sound so so cheesy and like I've always wanted to be a writer, but it's true. I read a lot of dragon books when I was a kid, so I wanted to write my own dragon stories. So I specifically remember sitting on the couch right before school every morning, writing on notebook paper in a Lisa Frank folder, that dates me, about a dragon story. And I think I wrote 2 or 3 stories on lined notebook paper, which I still have. I've tried to rewrite it later on, but like I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to tell stories. But I didn't get super serious about actually publishing until, oh goodness, probably when I was in college, where I thought, okay, this is actually something that I could do for a living.
Oh, that is truly amazing. Now, what would you say are some of the biggest rewards of being a writer?
Meeting other writers, just getting to meet the community and learn about other writers and how they work to create their stories and tell their stories. I've met so many incredible people, and one thing that I talk about a lot is I grew up a very lonely writer because there weren't a lot of people around me who were like me, who liked to make up all these stories. And this was before the internet came out solidly. So there wasn't a way to really connect with a lot of people. So that was the one thing that I was missing when I was younger, was finding a community. And then as I got older, got more connected with people through school, with the internet. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one who has stories running around in my head. Okay, I'm a little bit crazy, but you kind of have to be when you're a writer. Um, but yeah, it's just been fantastic to know other people and what they do. Also, being able to hold your own book in your hands is just really gratifying. And um, also having people come up to you and say, your book inspired me to write, or I could really see myself in those characters. It's an incredible feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely. On the flip side of the coin, though, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges of being a writer?
Marketing. When you're I think this is true for traditional publishing too, because now authors are having to do a lot more of their own marketing, but marketing can be very difficult. A lot of authors have trouble promoting themselves and selling themselves. Um, but it takes a lot of time. Like you want to be able to sit and focus on your own writing, but if you want the book to sell, you also need to be promoting it all over the place and with other people and making sure that you're going to conventions, which I love to do, but it takes time away from the writing. So that can be really difficult. Also, hitting writer's block or hitting a mental snag where people are expecting a new book to come out and you just can't write it. It's really hard. It's a lot of pressure on the writer, which is why some people will write like the trilogy before they actually publish the first book, which I kind of wish I had done initially. But hey, you live and learn, right?
That is, yes, that is very true. That is very true. So you brought this up a moment ago, and I want to let you, as well as you at home, there's something known as the elevator pitch. I'm sure you've heard these words before. It all rides on this. You're with an executive, you're in an elevator, you got to tell them why they should either buy this book, publish this book, or whatnot. This one right here. So the Purple Door District, what exactly is it? Give us your best version of an elevator pitch for what is known as the Purple Door District.
The Purple Door District is about a werebird named Bianca who is being chased by hunters. Her only chance to survive is to find the Purple Door District of Chicago, a safe haven for parahumans like herself. Werewolves, vampires, magi must come together to save her and their community.
Wow. That was all right. That was quick and on the money. I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, if you don't mind, without going into too many things known as spoilers, we all know that sometimes books tend to do very well, and the fans and the millions of people are saying, when's the next one going to come out? So I'm curious. Tell us about Wolf Pit. What's that all about?
Wolf Pit is about Tess Montgomery, who will do anything to rescue her pack members who have gone missing. She's a Magus with an attitude, and she fails spectacularly trying to help them. But it also helps her meet up with a hunter who she shouldn't be trusting, but she realizes he might be the only way that she can find her pack. Meanwhile, her pack brother Nick is trying to help keep his fellow wolves alive in what's called the wolf pit, where parahumans are pitted up against one another. So it follows their story, two separate stories coming together.
Wowza. That is very extraordinary, very awesome, tacular. Wish you the best of luck with those two books. Hope there are those of you, if you have read the book and if you have thoughts about it, let us know in the comment section. I'm sure Erin would love to hear what you think about those two books from her respectively. Now, I'm just curious, any special memories for you from being at conventions or other events, whether you're promoting your books or going as an attendee, Erin?
I have a couple. So one of them was I think I was at the Des Moines Book Festival, which was put on by indie author. It was by the Indie Author Book Expo by Jen Thompson. So while I was there, I had a group of young teenagers run up to my table because they were attracted by the book, and I had some jewelry. So I'm actually wearing a necklace that my main character wears in the Purple Door District. She and her sister wore this, and it's something I've created. So they ran up and they were excited about all the art and the books. They wanted everything. So they bought the full packages of the posters, the necklaces, the sand jars, all the items that go along with the book. And they let me take a picture of them holding the stuff. And it was just so exciting to get that feeling of, oh my gosh, like these people are actually excited to read my book. Another one was I was at a reading at Half Price Bookstore in Cedar Rapids, and a young writer was there, and she was insecure about writing. She was new. She wasn't quite sure how to get started. So she asked me a lot of questions, which I was very happy to answer. And at the end of it, she said, I think you really helped give me the courage to get started. I didn't realize like you can write if you have dyslexia or if you have like some mental disorders. Like I struggle with anxiety and depression, for example. So sometimes that can make writing a bit difficult. People sometimes say, you have to suffer for your art, or you can become a better author because of your anxiety and depression because you're writing out all the feelings. And it's like, that is sometimes true, but you also want to work on your mental health to make sure that you can enjoy what you're writing and you're not just in a haze as you're putting words on paper. So those are probably two of my favorite experiences that I've had at like being at conventions.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now, what advice would you have for aspiring writers out there?
Find your community would be one. Writing is typically seen as a very solitary thing, but it helps to have a support system, especially when you're feeling down on yourself. It's really easy to get into imposter syndrome or feel like you're not good enough to write your story, which you are. So make sure you have a community who can support you. Also, how you write, it's different for everybody. Some people are going to tell you need to write every day. Some people will say you just write when you feel like it. Do what works for you. Find your routine and stick to that. You don't have to write thousands of words a day. Even if you set a goal of like 50 words a day, that's great. Start small. Don't expect too much of yourself because otherwise you're going to burn out.
Very true. Very true. Very true. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now,
Yeah.
this kind of segues into my next question here. Someone once said that a rising tide raises all ships, and that there are places out there for gifted youngsters, as it were. Granted, we're not necessarily talking about the reference, from the Marvel comics, but someone told me about this, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. How did this all start? Where can people find out more information about it? And that would be the writers' rooms. I've heard a lot about this in my time, interviewing other writers and, talking to some people behind closed doors. Tell us exactly what it is the writers' rooms and how can other individuals be involved?
So, the Writers' Rooms is a nonprofit corporation that focuses on providing a free, safe environment to all writers, no matter your skill set, your gender, your income, your race, etc. We welcome everybody. The Writers' Room started as part of the Iowa Writers House, which was another writing group in Iowa City, which unfortunately has since shut its doors due to COVID. But what we do is we provide writing sessions that are either location-based or genre-based. For example, I run the Violet Realm, which is fantasy and sci-fi. So twice a month, I will teach a lesson for an hour that's about sci-fi, fantasy, or publishing to members of the community. And then the second hour, we work on writing together. Now, the one thing we encourage is for other writers to share lessons as well. We believe that everybody has knowledge that they can share. Everyone has a story. So we have some people who have taught us map making, or who have talked about different genres of fantasy. And all of our other rooms, we have a poetry room called the Golden Attic. We have an LGBTQIA room called the Rainbow Room, which is a safe place for LGBTQ members. We have the Lightless Corridor, which is our horror and mystery room. And we have the Scarlet Boudoir, which is our romance room. But we also have free writing rooms like Parchment Lounge and Cedar Room, where you can just come and work on writing for a couple hours together. Our big thing is we are writers helping writers. So we're there to support each other. We also run a author signing event called Imagine Other Worlds with Authors, which is going to be the 6th and 7th of November this year. And we also publish anthologies of our community. So we are working on one called Writers of the Flames right now, where we received a bunch of submissions that are all fire-based. And we're going to be creating an anthology that'll be sold to the community. Basically, everything that we do is free to the community. We understand that people, especially students who are just out of college and are, struggling with debt, that they need something that's not going to cost them an arm and a leg. Typically, non-COVID, we would meet in person at, say, the Cedar Rapids Public Library, Iowa City Public Library, etc. But we do have an online presence as well on Facebook. So if you find the Writers' Room's Facebook page, you can also find all of our groups. You can find the Violet Realm, the Rainbow Room, the Scarlet Boudoir, etc. We have gone mostly virtual because of COVID, so we're holding Zoom sessions for the most part. A couple of our rooms are starting to go in person again, but we are keeping the online component because we realize that's more accessible to some people who are either uncomfortable being in person because they're immunocompromised, not vaccinated, etc. And B, also, if it's difficult for them to just get to other places, they can go virtual and see what we have to offer. Some of our rooms, we don't necessarily do lesson-based, but they could be writing sprint-based, or you can have an opportunity to share your work. We recently actually just had a 5th Monday reading. So the Parchment Lounge does this things that every 5th Monday, they will do a live reading. So members of the community can share their pieces. And we just did the first one at Sanctuary Pub in Iowa City. Shout out to them because they are amazing, where they also recorded it virtually. So we've been sharing the video around so people can hear the type of pieces that our folks are reading. So it's been great. It's a great opportunity for you to find other writers, to learn about different lessons in writing. And if there's particular topics you want to learn about, our concierges or our leaders of our rooms are always open to hearing about these topics so that we can create lessons for them. Or if you have a lesson you want to share, you're welcome to bring that too.
Wow, if there was ever a sales pitch that is one of the best I've ever heard, and I don't mean this I mean this sincerely as a positive, that is a great sale. That is a great explanation is what I'm trying to say. Great explanation of what the writer's room is, how you can support other people and go out there, discover the spark within you as a person, as a writer, and just go for it. Just don't hold anything back.
No, like Brian said, when, we all want our ships to rise with each other, and we want to support each other. Being a writer, it's not a competition. We're trying to help each other. We all write different things. We can support each other. And that's one of the awesome things about a writing community. So, the writer's rooms has been a part of my life since, my previous co-director, Alex Penland, and I founded the writers room. So Alex is now actually off in Edinburgh, which is amazing. So I'm the director, but I have an incredible support team underneath who work with me to run the writers rooms, and we're doing some changes right now, but it's for the betterment of the community and to make sure that we're giving everything to the community that they're asking for.
Well, that is just simply wonderful. So I wish you and your team the best moving forward with the writers' rooms, all the different programs, all the different offerings that you have with that. My goodness gracious, I'm surprised. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong about this. I'm not sure. Have any of the local or maybe the conventions in your state or outside of your state come to you and said, "Hey, we really want you guys to be at our convention because we believe in what you're doing"? Like I'm not sure, but have other conventions in other states reached out to you and said, "Hey, this would be really good for our programming lineup at our convention"? Has anyone reached out to you in that regard?
Not necessarily in other states, but we have had it within Iowa. So Icon, Iowa's biggest science fiction fantasy convention that is put on every year. They asked us to be involved with the convention this year, and we've been helping out the last couple of years. But they wanted to promote us and do promote us at the convention. So we're going to be doing some lessons, and also we'll be selling our books. We've had a bookstore called Swamp Box Bookstore in Marion, Iowa, who wants to run a fundraiser for us, or basically a book fair for us to help with fundraising for our Imagine Other Worlds with Authors events. And we've had a few locations that have asked for some of our lessons. We're working on having more of a workshop room that we can take to other locations. So we'll have lessons prepared for those. So it's something that we'd like to do even more in the future, especially as we get more members in the organization.
Wow, that's truly amazing. I hope if you are an owner of a convention, get in touch with the writers' rooms, because I feel like this is something that should be spread out to other states, other conventions, because I've been going to conventions for over 7 or 8 years. I've seen a lot of different types of events, panels, actors, actresses, writers, vendors, artists, all of them show up, and they're great. I've had a great time at pretty much every event that I've attended, but at the same time, the writers' room is something that's outside the box, and I like it. So I hope to see more of that with programming lineups at conventions moving forward. So if you are an owner of a convention and you are watching this, give the writers' room a call.
You can I was going to say you can reach us at welcome@thewritersrooms.org. And we're also at our website is thewritersrooms.org. So you can also reach us through that. So yeah, we're happy to talk and connect with anybody and help the writing community.
Yeah, there's the power cord on the floor here. Just plug away there, Erin. Plug, plug, plug. We haven't, it's all good, all good. We all like each other around here. But even so, just saying. No, that's great. I mean, you have all this stuff in Iowa, which is where dreams come true because it's the home of Field of Dreams. So I'm hoping that it spreads more love out there to here in the States or beyond, because we could use that. If you dream the impossible, the incredible can come true. That's just take that as you will for you who may be watching this. Now, Erin, who would you say are some of your favorite writers nowadays? Do you have any favorites out there?
Patricia Briggs, definitely one of my favorite writers. Kristen Britton, who writes the Green Rider series. Her newest book, Winter Light, is, I believe, coming out within like a week. Rachel Kane, who sadly left us last year. She was definitely an inspirational writer to me. She still has a lot of incredible books out there that I really feel like people should pick up. Part of her stuff is urban fantasy writing and just a huge mix of books. But she was also a huge supporter of the community, and unfortunately, she passed away, not from COVID, but cancer is an awful thing, and we've lost a. And then of course I have to plug Brian K. Morris is an amazing author, so you should definitely check him out.
Yes, we were talking backstage. I consider him the Mr. Rogers of the interwebs because
Yes.
he's just so dang nice, and he supports other people in more ways than one. And he's always plugging the Rising Tide Publications page, which when you get a chance, you should check out because there's a lot of great shows and a lot of great programming on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. So feel free to check out those wonderful people, if you will, whether it's Brian K. Morris, whether it's Comic Book Spectrum, whether it's Nevermind the Furthermore, or TED Talks, or was it Creative as Hale with Amy Hale, which I know is currently on hiatus right now. But when she comes back, she'll make an impact like crazy because Amy Hale is awesome-tacular. So if you haven't heard of these names before, do yourself a favor. Check out our good friends over at the Rising Tide Broadcast Network because they are a fine, super fine group of people.
They're fabulous. So fabulous.
They are, right? Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, it is true. I think it is tending to be true. I'm saying. So we were saying, who are your favorite writers of the past, favorite writers of the present, but we were talking about something backstage. We were talking about some of our favorite movies and maybe not so favorite movies, depending on how you look at it. So if this were to be adapted into a film or a TV series, who would you want to be in the cast of Wolf Pit for that one?
Oh goodness. Oh, you really put me on the spot for that one, don't you? You know what? I would love to have a lot of people from the Vampire Diaries series be involved with this. I love the Vampire Diaries and the originals. I mean, Klaus, come on. So I'm sure a lot of those actors and actresses would work really well in the books. I actually shockingly, I haven't put actor faces to any of my characters, which is something that I would usually do in my books, but I haven't really thought about it that much. But yeah, I would say, oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher his last name because I always do. Ian
Somerhalder.
Thank you. Would my readers are gonna hate me?
AKA Damon.
Damon, yes, he would definitely be Gavin in book 1. So, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. But my readers would hate me for saying it.
Oh, okay. All right. Just curious. So you're referring to book 1, and in this case, that would be the Purple Door District?
Purple Door District.
He would take on? Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure I have it correct.
Yes.
Ian Somerhalder. What about his brother? What about Paul Wesley? Where does he fit in all this?
Paul Wesley, which character would he be good for? But that is a hard one because I could see him both as a good character or a villain. There's actually, there's a character in the 3rd book that I'm writing named Micah that that I wrote that he'd be really good for. The 3rd book is currently in editing stages. It's called A Game of Fae. And will be released in early 2022. I was planning on having it out in 2021, but the book took a little longer to write than I expected because it's the 3rd book. It's the last book in this trilogy. I wanted to do my readers and the characters, just justice. Thank you. I was trying to find that word. I wanted to do my readers and my characters justice. So that book should be coming out in early 2022. And is going to include a lot of magic, a lot of history about the Fae, and also a lot of favorite characters returning. And I will give this slight it's not necessarily a spoiler, but you're going to see a character from book 1 that people really loved pop up in book 3. And that's what I'm going to say about it.
Intriguing. Excellent.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I just had to do my Mr. Burns impression because that's one of the
Yes.
few things I know how to do well in this world. So you gotta take it with what you will. But that's all I gotta say about that. So we're talking with Erin Casey here. If you have any questions for her, drop it in the comments section. We're going to be taking those questions as we go along. Also, make sure you're sharing this video with your friends, your families, your coworkers. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. So, Erin, we're going to have a little fun here. The next questions I'm going to ask you are powered by Podex. And Podex are the hottest new tool for podcasters looking to have some meaningful conversations or gamify their podcast. Simply shuffle them up, ask a question, just let the content roll. Get yours today at podex.com. Use the promo code nerdculture, I should say, and you get 10% off. So make sure you're keeping that in mind as we go along. Probably should have added that earlier, but there it is. So yeah, next section of questions is powered by Podex. You gotta love it when you do these things live and then you realize, oh, something should have happened on XYZ, but it's here now. It's here now. So now the set is completely on and ready to be lit up on the marquee. So question number 1 here for you, Erin. When were your parents most disappointed in you?
Oh, geez. Probably when I ended up getting a bunch of C's on my report card when I was in middle school because I had gotten sick with the chicken pox and I kind of did not do my homework during that time. So yeah, my report card wasn't the best. So I shaped up after that.
All good. My goodness gracious. So which band or artist, dead or alive, would play at your own funeral?
Oh, geez. I would think probably Lorena McKennitt. She does more like fantasy medieval-esque type music. I have a feeling she would probably play at it.
Oh my goodness. I've never heard of these bands or people before, so this is all new for me. You learn something new every day in this world, so there you go. It's the best thing about meeting new people. You never know what you're going to learn. So we were talking about who would you cast in certain, series or movies, whether it's something being adapted from your book or something or otherwise. Who'd play you in a movie?
Oh, geez. Oh crap. What's her name? She is one of the actresses from This Is Us.
Chrissy Metz?
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Is that how you say her name?
Chrissy Metz, yeah.
I specifically know who you're talking about. I'm just trying to make sure I'm pronouncing her name. Is it Christy Metz or Chrissy Metz?
Chrissy Metz. There we go. I just checked it up to make sure I said it right.
Thank you, Google.
I think Chrissy Metz. Yes, right. I think she definitely would do a great job playing me as a character.
No, all good. I did watch This Is Us the first few seasons, and I jumped off the wagon because I realized there's just too much going on in my life. I can't. And also,
I feel you.
It's just easier and maybe you at home, maybe you agree or disagree. I'll leave this up to you. Let us know in the comments. I prefer to wait until a series is completely done, and then I can just go back and binge watch the whole gosh darn thing without having to wait 6 months or a year for a new season to drop, respectfully. But that's not necessarily a slight against the series or the people who make them. It's just, for me, I would rather the whole story is already out, and then I can just go back and watch it all and say, oh, this story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, just like a 3-act play. So
then you can just binge watch it without stopping. Yeah,
exactly. There may be a lot of tears though with This Is Us, because as that show loves to do, is to break your heart and to make you cry buckets. Cry me a river. So it's, JT's going to come in here and we're going to hear him play that song each and every week when the show's over, because everyone's going to be crying a river of tears.
Oh my gosh! Right.
So, but it's a great show. The early seasons are really good. I had the pleasure of meeting Milo Ventimiglia, who plays Jack, the father.
Oh, that's
Jack.
awesome.
And he was at a convention, and I told him specifically, I said, Milo, your episode of where, by the way, this is a spoiler alert, just a minor spoiler alert if you haven't seen the early seasons of This Is Us. So just take this as you will. The episode where they reveal how Jack died hit me to the core. And I told Milo this. I said, Milo, your episode, it was a great episode, don't get me wrong, but it broke me. It broke me because I lost my old man in not very similar, but a somewhat similar fashion. That your character died, so it broke me. But it was a great episode, and you guys did a tremendous job. So I want to give you credit, but I was a wreck.
I'm sorry
but
for
I
your
told him
loss.
that, and he appreciated the thoughts and the sentiments and all that. And I got an 8x10 signed by him in his booth. I didn't have anything personal of mine for him to sign, so I just got an 8x10. So he signs the 8x10, and he's like, "Thanks for sharing that with me, man. Bring it in here." And he gave me a hug, and I was like, "That's a real human being right there." Like Milo's a great person. So if you ever get a chance to meet Milo Ventimiglia, who I know has played countless roles in his career, Gilmore Girls, anybody, as well as a million others, Heroes, the only season that happened because the other seasons never happened, but Milo's a great human being. So just meet him at a convention, Erin, if you can, because he's a very nice, kind, gentle soul. So thank you, Milo, for that great memory. I'm never going to forget it. So just great episode. It broke me, but it was great acting by all involved. I mean, everybody in that episode just brought their A game.
Fun fact about that scene, though, is when Mandy Moore walks in and sees that he's gone, he actually wasn't supposed to be lying on the bed. That scene was completely unscripted. She walked in, he was lying there, and they got like the pure raw emotion of her seeing him there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Which is amazing. But yeah, I'm sorry about your loss too. I lost my mom last year, which is part of the reason why it took so long to get that third book written. It's a rough thing to go through.
Absolutely. Losing a loved one is never easy, no matter what. So, but our thoughts and our memories of them are going to stay with us forever. And as Luke Skywalker once said, no one's ever really gone.
Exactly.
So keep them in here and they're never going to be gone. So just not to get on a pedestal here, but that's what we're saying. So just we're going to roll with it. That's what we're saying. But my goodness, this is heavy. Anywho, as Marty McFly would say, this is very heavy. But as we move back into our friendly neighborhood Podex questions, I'm curious about this one, Erin. What do you value the most in your friends?
Oh, goodness. I would say their compassion. Their compassion towards me, towards themselves, and towards other people. Because, like we were talking about backstage, this world needs more love and compassion, and that's what draws me to them. That they're very willing to drop anything to be there for the people that they care about.
There you go. Now, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have evolved in terms of, how we communicate with one another and how we are connected more so than ever before, in spite of this unfortunate situation known as the pandemic.
Yeah.
But is there a piece of technology that you wish existed that doesn't exist as of yet?
Oh, man. Yeah, a teleportation device that could take me to people. That would be amazing. Like, we could stand between pieces of glass if we have to and actually see each other. Would be absolutely amazing, because I'm sorry, like Zoom and Facebook video, all that has been great with being able to connect people, but there's nothing like actually being in the room with that person and seeing them face to face, even for just a few minutes. So definitely wish that we had a transporter of some sort where it didn't take hours to go see them, or 7 years since I last saw my roommate.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah, she came. Yeah, my college roommate. She actually did.
Roommate. Okay.
Yeah, college roommate. Yeah, she actually just came to visit this past week. So I finally got to see her, and we did our best to be safe around each other, of course. But it would be a lot nicer to be able to just go, pop in a tube and, materialize in another location to see her. Beam me up, Scotty.
I was going to say, because you're referencing something that's very familiar to me, as well as maybe you at home. Energize.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm a Picard fan through and through. Patrick Stewart is a gift to mankind. So, you know what, Erin? The line must be drawn here. This father, no father.
Yes.
So and if you want revenge against somebody, and just look in the camera, look dead in the eyes of the camera and say, and I will make them pay for what they've done. Full disclosure, Erin, my favorite Star Trek film of all time is Star Trek First Contact, and I have the movie poster right up here on my wall. So thank you, Picard. Thank you, Picard. And company. Because when I watched that movie, I realized, boy, this cast really loves each other. They love working together. My goodness. You can feel the chemistry between everybody, from whether it's Stewart to Brent Spiner to Gates McFadden to especially who's the Jonathan Frakes. I mean, my gosh, those people are like one giant family, and they love each other. So my hat's off to them. Baby, make it so, Mr. Wolf. So I'm sorry. I just love Picardisms. I can't help it. I can't help it. Seriously, someone said to me the other day, and by the way, this is a fun fact for you at home. Star Trek Day was earlier this week. They celebrated the 55th anniversary of the original series and the franchise as a whole, known as Star Trek. And I didn't realize this until I looked on Twitter, and everyone was flooding Twitter with, hashtag happy so-and-so day and LLAP, which stands for live long and prosper. So I went on Facebook and I made a post that says, happy Star Trek Day. I just became a fan recently, but I'm happy to be aboard the Enterprise for more adventures. And everyone was posting Star Trek GIFs saying like, engage, make it so, and then welcome aboard. Very happy that you're here. It's great. It's absolutely great. Because I knew this from the beginning, but at the same time, I didn't know much about it. But it's true. You can like both Star Wars and Star Trek at the same time and still be a fan. There's nothing. I mean, I knew that, in the back of my mind, I knew it. But at the same time, when you actually start to like both franchises, you realize I can like both. They're fun. Who cares?
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you have the gatekeepers of Star Wars, you have the gatekeepers of Star Trek, but you're allowed to like both of them. I mean, come on. It's science fiction. We're allowed to love multiple things, just like we're allowed to love multiple authors.
And read multiple books by multiple authors. That is very true as well. I'm sure Brian K. Morris and company would agree. I'm sorry, we can't help it. If this is kind of an insider thing, if you know who Brian K. Morris is, we crack jokes on him. We give him positives, we give him negatives because he wears that ridiculous looking hat every time he's on camera. And I can't stand to look at it. It's disgusting.
I love the fez.
No, I'm kidding. No, I have no problem with the fez. I may not be a Whovian, and it's a fandom I'm never going to understand, but I still can respect it. So, I mean, what's the phrase that they use on that show? It's hello, sweetie.
Hello,
There's
sweetie.
that one. There's
and
that
Alonzi.
Exactly. There's that one. There's, oh my gosh, what's the other one?
Spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, spoilers. By the way, if I ever get to meet, here's the funny thing. Alex Kingston was at a convention I was volunteering at a couple years ago, known as Shore Leave. It's in the state of Maryland, where I'm from. So Alex Kingston is over there, and this was before. I mean, granted, I never really became a Whovian, but I do remember her on ER. So I didn't get a chance to go over to her and talk to her because her line is like 6 miles deep. You can't. Her line is, she's Alex Kingston for a reason. She has her fan base for very good reasons. But if I ever get a chance to see her and go up to her and get an autograph or whatever, I just want to say, Alex, just say it for me one time. Can you just say the immortal words? The 2 words? Can you say it? Can you give me a hello, sweetie? Just once. I want to hear it. That's probably what I would end up doing if I met Alex. But Alex, you were great on ER. I loved your role on ER, but I got to hear it.
Yeah.
There you go. See, that would probably make a couple of maybe your dreams or someone else's dreams come true. I'm not sure, but I'll leave that up to you. G. Willikers, Alex Kingston, wonderful actress in her own right. So there's that. Gee whiz. Boy, so many fandoms here. My gosh, have we covered them all?
We haven't done Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings I believe it's getting rebooted as a series on Amazon Prime.
Yes, it is.
Isn't that true? Is it going to be called Middle Earth or something like that?
I think so. I can't remember, but I think it's called Middle Earth.
The Adventures of Middle Earth?
Something like that.
I'm going on an adventure. Maybe that's what it's called. From Bilbo. I'm going
on an adventure.
Seriously, do you know how many? I'm sure that GIF has been posted numerous times.
Oh yeah.
When people are going on to conventions, or maybe they're going to another location that I will not say on air, but I'm just saying it could happen. It could happen. Oh, Lord, I think we've covered all fandoms. Oh, I'm just trying to think. Did I miss anything? Well, here's this one. Who is a writer that you hope to meet or work with in the future, Erin?
Oh goodness, a writer I wish to meet would be Patricia Briggs. Definitely would want to meet her and see what makes her creative mind tick and how she comes up with all these characters and how she puts so much humor into her books. I love her. She is amazing. And it would also be cool to write something with her. I don't think that would ever happen, but that would make a dream come true.
Absolutely no problem with that. We want to take this opportunity to thank Erin Casey for being with us on this episode of And I Quote. Erin, any upcoming projects you can tell us about, and where can everyone find you on social media?
So a Game of Fae should be coming out early 2022, so keep an eye out for the cover for it. I will also be at Icon this year. If you're in the Iowa or the Cedar Rapids area, feel free to stop by the vendor room. I will have both of my books as well as the necklace and a lot of other fun items available. You can find me at erincasey.org, which is in my nameplate right here. You can get my signed books there by ordering through my website. I do signed books, and I also send you character stickers and a bookmark as well, and a personal note from me. You can find me at Amazon at amazon.com/author/Erin Casey author. Find me on Facebook at Erin Casey author. I am now on TikTok. Yes, I am with the book talk craze now. Also, I believe Erin Casey author. You noticing a theme here. But you can actually find all my social media on erincasey.org. It'll be under like the media kit section. So all of them are listed. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Goodreads, all author, all over the place. So feel free to follow me. I'm usually posting constantly and filling people in on the books. I'm also on Patreon. So if you want to see early chapters of Game of Fae before it comes out, I will be posting some of those probably within the next couple months, I think. So
that is just awesome-tacular. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you for being our guest on this week's episode of And I Quote.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I hope you enjoyed yourself. My name is Ryan of Neuroculture. You can follow us on all forms of social media simply at It's Neuroculture. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, because that's what everyone is using these days, which I'm still trying to understand. But you can also check out my podcast. It's called The Nerdcast. You can download it on Anchor, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you download your podcast, where I review some of the latest movies I've had a chance to see. Some modern, some classics, somewhere in between. And like I said, this show, And I Quote, every Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern on our Facebook page, simply at It's Neuroculture. So on behalf of Erin, myself, to you out there, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, and read books. Take a look. It's in a book. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
I'm GW Pomager.
I'm Dina Marie.
I'm Sage Ia.
I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
Hey, I'm David Thompson.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey there, this is Dave Adams.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Rose.
Jerome Conner here.
Hey guys, it's Josh Bauer.
It's Willow Schuyler.
I'm Cosplay Michael.
I'm Alva.
It's your boy Country.
I'm Ryan Permison.
And I'd like to ask you guys,
please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to HWWS
Web TV.
Great bunch of people.
And don't forget to smash the bell.
Ring that bell.
Smash that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell to be notified.
Hit the bell to get notified of new shows
and videos.
You're going to want to do that, so do that soon.
So we can cross that 20,000 mark.
And get us to 100,000 subscribers.
To 1 million, and 10 million, and 100 million.
On HWWS
Web TV.
You really like it, I guarantee it.